Wow. Just sitting here and thinking about everything that God has brought me through. I can't even begin to put words together and comprehend and communicate everything that He's brought me through. It's like, I'm just so thankful. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kay. I appreciate you clicking on this video. There is a reason why you're clicking on this video, so don't think it's by chance. So my testimony. It just shows growth, like being able to do that video, that little intro that I did of highlights of what I actually went through, just shows that I have grown, I have developed, I have matured, and I have forgiven. And the message, the point of this message is all about forgiveness. Despite what people do to you, whatever you go through, forgiveness is for you, it's not for them. And the Bible said, forgive and you shall be forgiven. So you're sitting here, well, why should I forgive? They hurt me. They did this to me. Why should I be the one to forgive? Why should I be the one to be the bigger person? Why am I to be the bigger person? It's not fair. They hurt me. They did this to me. But you have to sit back and realize, have you allowed this to happen? We have the tendency of falling into these things called cycles. Jonathan McReynolds, oh my gosh, beautiful song called Cycles. Every time I listen to it, I cry, because it just lets me know that a lot of things that we allow ourselves to get into, we can avoid. But their comfort, they ease us. They're little void fillers that I like to call void fillers 101. Things get hard, you drop back into the void fillers. My void fillers were drinking, partying, having sex. It all started when so I've been a Christian now for 2 years. That has gone quick. Wow. Well, technically, let's be real. You know what? We're gonna get real. Let's be real. I've been a Christian for 2 years, but I've been practicing thoroughly last year, August. Like, made the decision, fully surrendered. God, I need you. I can't do this without you. I am done doing it my way type of movement. This was last year, August. So I got saved in December 2017. I got baptized in December 2017. I got saved in October 2017. So just a few months apart. But that encounter alone with God was, he just knows, like, he knows everything you need before you need it. The intentionality of God is just absolutely amazing. And it's like, no matter how many times you close the door or slam the door in his face or say, listen, I don't want that, he is going to be there with open arms, ready for you to come back. Like, he knows. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Oh, I love this man so much. But yeah, he'll be waiting there with open arms, ready for you to come back. Like, the amount of mistakes I made, the amount of things I've been through, pre-saved and post-saved, a lot more, not much changed, to be honest. But God needed to be able to show me what was still within me, so I never have to be that person again. And in order to get over it, we have to go through it. The Bible says, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. Regardless of what you're going through, God is going to be with you. Be that light in the dark place. But he always says, Keisha, how are you supposed to teach? How are you supposed to pass it on if you don't go through it? The authenticity of your testimony is imperishable. People around, people in this day and age, especially saved people saved people coming out of the world, they don't like to tell people what they've been through. Listen, how are you supposed to help people if they don't tell? I used to be, listen, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. Ow, this earring is really hurting me. Regardless of what you're going through, you grow through what you go through. You don't go through just to go through. So then you can pass down the mantle. The mantle is your talents, your gifts, your experiences, your word, your knowledge, your wisdom that you can pass down to the next person and bring people to the kingdom. Don't be ashamed of your testimony. I can sit here and like, I was ashamed of my testimony. Bro, when I tell you, I was savage. I was out in the streets. Like, it wasn't even a joke. But anyway. So, my testimony. So, in the world, now to people who aren't Christian, in the world is basically the world that we live in now. As Christians, as believers, we believe, we know that we are not of this world. We are from another kingdom, and that's with Jesus. We are just on this world to make an impact right now, to spread the gospel, to bring people to the kingdom, and to implement God and Christ. I was in the world. I was partying. I was lost. I was confused. I didn't know who I was. I was hanging on to everybody's every word. I was bouncing from man to man. Because my dad left when I was 10. Me and my dad were really close. And he left when I was 10. I didn't know why. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know why. I didn't know what happened. I thought it was me. It was just confusing. And then not having that father figure in my life, it really messed me up. Looking back now, I had some serious daddy issues. Like, bro, the first male contact that a young female has is her father. And not to have that male figure there in the most detrimental times of my life when I really needed him, it really impacted me. So I kind of lent on to any man, to the person I was seeing at the time, and clinged onto him and made them my father figure, so to speak. And what I realized is there are two types of approaches when it comes to daddy issues. We have the women that stay away from men, are very timid and just in themselves, or we have the woman that is out there, outspoken, doing what she's doing, not giving a tittle toe of what she's doing or who she's hurting or what she's impacting. And that was me. I've always been able to have a male figure, a male presence around me. That was never an issue. And when I was 18, I was really feeling myself. Like, I thought I was the bee's knees, until I cheated on an ex once. It got to the point where I was like, I just didn't care who I was around, and I was hurting people. I didn't care as long as I was getting mine, as long as I was getting what helped me, benefited me, made me feel good. I didn't care. And then the tables reversed, and then I got cheated on, and that stung at that point. And then it was like, it was a real, this is really hurting. At that point, it was like a reoccurring situation, like one cheating after another, after another, after another. I was like, oh my days, I am getting punished for what I did to these people right now. Like, this is karma. I'm getting judged right now. This is what's going to happen for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not sure what's going on. And from then, I made a vow never to ever hurt anyone like that again. So then I get into university now, and I'm excited. New start, fresh start. Let's go. Like, I'm ready to qualify. I'm ready to be a nurse. I'm ready to do what I feel I've been called to do, because I feel like I'm really good with people, and I've got great communication skills. I feel like I can help people. I've always wanted to do it. So I was at uni. I was getting ready. I just started uni, moved in, did my first year, was doing great. And then towards the end of first year, I met a guy that I used to go to school with, and me and him just got on like a house of wildfire. Like, to be fair, me and him now, we're Gucci, like, we're friends, homie. That's my bro. So that's development. But yeah, we rekindled, and we were speaking about what had happened previously, because the summer just before I started uni, I was with this guy and I found out that he was with me. He was with me, and then he was with another girl throughout the whole duration of our situation. And I was just like, how was I so blind? Like, you know, when you just have that intuition, we call it back then intuition. I now know it was God's hand on my life constantly, like I knew it. But I just knew something was wrong. I just knew something weren't right. But I ignored it. And then fast forward to summer now that year, I find out he's with somebody and he ends up breaking up with me. Or we just leave our situation. It didn't take that long until I moved on. I was at uni, I goes, you know what, I'm just gonna get over this, leave it alone. He's there, I'm here, just leave it alone. And then obviously, like I said, fast forward now, when I'm speaking to this guy from school, we were just getting along, and he would come down to my flat. We would talk all night. We would be on the phone, bus joke. Like, we were so friendly. We were so in tune with each other. He was my homie and my partner as well. So it was all great. And then what happens? Gosh, it's like an EastEnders the duff moment in my life, I swear down. But find out that he's still talking to his ex. He's still sleeping with his ex, and me and him are involved physically. And it's like, what on earth is going on? Like, he was telling me that he wants to take it slow, and then I find that he's still talking to her, and I go, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this again. So me and him, I cut it off with me and him. We don't talk. He's apologizing. Still said no. I think I took him back. Actually, no, I did take him back after, but then I think it happened again. And then I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Fast forward like a few weeks later, I wake up with the most excruciating stomach pains of my life. And I go to the toilet and I realized I was pregnant. And in the duration of this time, I was going through exams. I was failing my exams. I was failing assignments. I was stressed out with this whole boyfriend situation. I was now pregnant, who was in the middle of a miscarriage. I thought my ovaries were bursting. Like, I thought my stomach was about to fall out and explode. The pain was horrendous. I go to the toilet and I realized I was pregnant. The fetus had come away. And in the midst of that duration, I didn't know what to think. I was alone. I didn't want to tell my mom because I didn't want to disappoint my mom. I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I did speak to him eventually about it. He's like, you should have told me. But it's like, I don't want to be that ex that's like, oh, I'm pregnant. But like, at that point, I cared too much what people thought. Put their feelings above mine. And it really messed me up mentally. I was depressed. I had so many spirals of depression. It's been unreal. But after this whole situation, I passed my first year at uni, literally by the grace of God, the skin of my teeth, I passed that first year. I made a decision because I'm not about to let this situation hinder the rest of my development, the rest of my life. Now looking back, I could have had a 5-year-old right now. Like, I could have had a 5-year-old little boy just like, mommy, on my hip. Like, whoa, that is scary just to think about. So even though the pain of losing a child is excruciating, I'm thankful because I was nowhere ready financially, mentally, emotionally. Like, I was nowhere ready to bring a child into the world. So I'm glad, I'm happy it happened the way it did. As opposed, because I am not for abortion. Like, if I was pregnant and I caught, I would have kept it. So I'm glad God's hand was in that situation in regards to his best intentionality for my life. But so fast forwarding to the next year now, so we're in second year of university. I'm like, yes, I'm doing good. I decided to move home because financially I wasn't able to cope, and my mom and Nana said, you know what, come home and just commute to uni. It's like 30-minute drive down the road. Do it, or just jump on the train. So I moved home and I started working at my mum's hotel, and I met this very nice Jamaican man. And you know what the jokest thing is, right? This was that moment when I look back and I'm like, Keisha, you said you would never date a Jamaican man, ever. But when I tell you, this brother was nice. But anyway, so me and him were involved, and he previously was in a marital situation, and him and his wife had broken up. And in the midst of all that whole situation, she blamed me for breaking up their marriage when that was never the case. I knew he was married. She had a situation going on of her own, and he was involved with me. They decided to separate. I guess it became a shock to her, but I get it. It was a marital situation. They had children. I get it. But there was no home wrecking situation there at all. But that's how it came across. And in the midst of that, I realized who my friends were, because both situations, this situation and the last situation with the guy, friends have hurt me so bad. People who I thought were my friends. I guess God has a way of filtering people out, but there was a situation with the last guy where he broke up with me and said, I just want to focus on being single. I've been in a relationship for far too long. Then to come find out 2 months later that he's with a completely different woman, and the girl that you were confiding in knew what was going on, knew he was with someone else, and didn't have the decency to tell you to your face. And the only way I found out was when I was on her phone looking at her text that she wanted to show me of her boyfriend, and my ex popped down on her phone. Oh, bear in mind, this girl and my ex were best friends. He popped down on her phone. He popped down on her phone, and I clicked it. Something just said click it. And I read through the messages, and it was him saying, I can't wait to meet my baby, and I'm going to meet my baby XYZ. And I was like, what? What on earth is happening here? Like, I went off. I was at the point, and in the midst of this, we were in a club. Like, we were out partying, having a good time. We were intoxicated. And when I am drunk, I turn into some she-wolf. Like, the alter ego that I wanted to be sober, I'm her. I was her drunk. I was her intoxicated. And it was lethal. It was like, I would cost I would just... Anyway, it wasn't nice. So yeah, fast forwarding back now to the guy after this guy, after the previous guy, the whole friendship situation again popped up. A friend that I thought was my friend, I confided in a few years back in regards to situations, and she had put information together from past situations and accumulated it into one situation to make it look like I'm this awful person. And to be fair, listen, I've had my share of hurting people, and I will put my hand up saying I'm not perfect, and I've hurt people. But the pain that I experienced, and I'm not trying to be all woe is me, but the pain I experienced in regards to friends, like, it wasn't easy, because I've never really had a friend I can rely on. Something always happens, because even like, funny enough, I got beat up. I got jumped by a bunch of girls over the last guy. So the guy that I lost the baby with. So basically the girl who he was with, she and her friends jumped me. And the funny thing is, I know who the girl is, but the people that jumped me, I could walk past the street and see them. I would never know who they were because it was blindsided. But and that really took me back. That really traumatized me. So yeah, it's all a learning curve and development, just to know your worth and to know your place within this world. Like, these experiences happen for a reason, to develop me and to make me stronger. Like, I am stronger than I ever was. I would never make the same mistakes again. And I'm glad, I appreciate the experiences that I went through, because I now see that without them, I would not be the person who I am today in Christ. And what I've realized also is people care far too much about people's opinions and people's input in regards to their testimony, as opposed to glorifying God. Like, no. God allowed you to go through them stuff to glorify his name, to bring people to the kingdom, to let them know what he has brought you out of. What you've been through, but what he's brought you out of. And this is what we need to do. We need to limit our power. We need to limit how much power we give to people, and the amount of power that we allow people to take and dictate about our lives. It's like, you haven't walked in my shoes. Who gave you the authority to input anything? Everybody has done something. But because people don't speak about it, people aren't real. They're not 100% about who they are and what they've been through, because of either pain that they don't want to readdress, shame that again they don't want to readdress, or the fact that they are in denial about what happened. But we need to get to a point where we've accepted what's happening, what's going on in regards to our testimony, and we allow God to shine. I really hope that this testimony allows people to get to a point where they can just walk freely. Pick up your mat and walk, he said. You are healed. Your testimony, your mat is your testimony. Pick it up, walk on, and carry on what you're doing. Freely, in the glory of God, knowing that no weapon formed against you can prosper. Because if God is for you, who can be against you? Nobody. So you hold on to the promises of God and what he has said. You will never be alone. And despite whatever comes at you, whatever comes towards you, you are covered. Don't worry. I've been through some stuff. I've done some stuff. I've been a hurt person who's hurt people. An edited testimony will not impact anybody. It has to be authentic and real and to the T with what happened. And yeah, people are going to spread their opinions and say their opinions and maybe take to it or flock to it or flee from it. But at the end of the day, it's your testimony. It's out there and it will impact somebody. Remember, you're not going through this just to go through it. It's bigger than you. 2020 is bigger than you. God wants vessels that he can flow through and to you, to build you up, to build up your character, to build up your trust, your relationship with him, to bless you, so then you can overflow and pour out and bless others. And that be mainly first and foremost your testimony, and then your overflow in regards to blessings, financial, whatever God asks you to do. In moving past this guy now, he cheated on me. And it was very vulgar. But I don't know, should I go into the details? We were away, we would have date nights every month, once a month, a big date night once a month, and we will go away. And it was a great night, but what I realised as well with this guy, that I could never really be myself. I would always have to be intoxicated, whether be drunk or smoking weed or on something, I don't know. It was sad to know that we were always intoxicated. It was not good at all. But yeah, me and him had just been physical after our lovely night out, and I wake up to the bed shaking. I'm like, am I dreaming? Why is this bed shaking, bro? Like, anyway, and you know what, it's so true to think about, like, this is how I know I've grown and God has healed me from, and I have forgiven, guys. Forgiveness is amazing. It's hard, but it's amazing. This guy was beating his wood to my friend's picture on my phone, blood. Right next to me, after we finished doing what we were doing. Listen, do you know the insecurities that creeped up my spine? Oh my days, I felt so worthless. And the girl's buff, you know, like, she's a very pretty, well put together, was 18-year-old at the time. That's a bit creepy, by the way. Yo, it was traumatic. I packed up my things, jumped on the train and went home. Like, no, I was not going to sit there. No, I felt disgusting. Like, whew. So yeah, So fast forward in a few weeks now, he's belling off my phone. I'm sorry, please, you're my queen. I'm like, bro, I ain't about this sweetheart life, you know, like, no, you're stressful anyway. I don't even know why I stayed, but you stayed because it's like, at that point, I didn't know my worth, and this guy was really good looking, and every time I was with someone who was really good looking, I would try to hold on to them because I didn't think I was good looking. I didn't think I was worthy of being with that person. I loathed myself. I didn't see myself at a standard or set myself at a standard. I just took what I could. Really bad, I know. But, and it's like people saw the insecurities oozing out of me. And they fed off it. And I think because I've been hurt so much, I thought, let me be everything that they can be. Let me be everything that they desire. So cook for them, clean for them, buy for them. Just don't argue, don't be a force. And it's like, what I realised as well, being a nice girl, it's not really that good. I was the nice girl, but people took advantage of me. So yeah. So me and him had a really bad breakup. It became abusive. It became physically abusive, nearly. Verbally abusive all the time. He would call me fat. He would call me ugly. He would be like, you're no Beyonce. You should be lucky you're with me. He would overfeed me. And then I gained like 4 stone with that man. He would overfeed me intentionally, and he told me himself. He's like, oh, I like my women big. But then when I got bigger, he bashed me down. It was like, yeah, it weren't the best situation, but there was a lot of development within that relationship. So moving forward now, I decided to end it. I was like, no, 2016, new year. You know what we say? New year, new me. Well, but I was deadly serious. I was like, listen, no one's going to be coming and messing up me anymore. I'm tired of it. I can't be bothered. But anyway, so 2016 now was a very interesting year because that was the year I failed. That was the year I got kicked out of uni. I failed my degree. And yeah, I got kicked out of uni. I got my uni was terminated. Everything was overwhelming me. I just couldn't take it. The pressure was getting to me. Uni was getting to me. I was developing friendships that I thought were long term, and it just turned out no, they just weren't loyal, and I was on the tipping edge. So I decided to come away and start afresh. So 2016, me and a old boyfriend who I literally been on and off with since I was 16 years old, like up until last year.